Very healthy for you, easy to make, and made with the simplest ingredients. This is the same thing as the canned ones, adding them into a sieve and rinsing them under some cold running water to remove any of the preservatives. Now this is 570 grams, which equals 20 ounces or 2 cups of cooked garbanzo beans. For the next ingredient to prepare, I'm going to measure out 1 cup of basmati rice. This equals 195 grams. Now to make this recipe, you can use whatever rice you like. I like to use the basmati one here, as it contains less starch than other rices, which makes this dish feel not so heavy. Then I'm going to add the basmati rice into a sieve and rinse it under some cold running water. You know, washing basmati rice before cooking is essential, as it ensures that the starch is removed. And you don't have to wash it until the water comes out clear. Just go between 30 to 60 seconds. And for the final ingredient to prepare, I'm going to finely grate between 5 to 6 tomatoes. We want to end up with 1.5 cups of grated tomato, which is 400 grams or 15 ounces. Now to make this recipe, you can totally use canned tomato sauce. I just prefer to use fresh tomatoes here, as it gives this dish a better flavor. Alright, let's start cooking up our dish. I'm going to add our 1 cup of rinsed basmati rice into a saucepan, along with half a teaspoon of dried thyme, which equals 0.45 grams, half a teaspoon of dried rosemary, which equals 0.56 grams, half a teaspoon of dried parsley, which equals 0.27 grams, half a teaspoon of fine sea salt, which equals 3 grams, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper, which equals about 0.35 grams. Then I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of cold water, which equals 356 milliliters, and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, which equals 15 milliliters. You know, the olive oil is so important here. Not only does it flavor the rice, but it helps the grains not stick together. I'm going to heat this with a high heat, and we'll give this a quick mix. That way everything's evenly mixed together. After this step, you don't want to mix the rice again. Just let it do its thing and let it cook without being disrupted. Once this comes to a boil, I'm going to place a lid on the saucepan, and we'll lower the fire from a high heat to a low heat. While the basmati rice is cooking, let's make our smoky garbanzo beans. I'm going to heat a fry pan with a medium heat and add in 2 tablespoons, which equals 30 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. After heating the olive oil for 2 minutes, I'm going to add in half of an onion that I finely diced and 3 cloves of garlic that I finely minced. And start mixing them around with that extra virgin olive oil. I like to mix this continuously, that way nothing burns and everything evenly sautés. After about 3 minutes, and the onion is nice and translucent and the garlic developing a light golden fried color, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of Sweet Smoked Spanish Paprika. This equals 2.30 grams. And we'll mix this all together, and like I always tell you, when you add in paprika into a hot pan, you want to mix it in there quickly, otherwise it gets a bitter flavor. Then we'll add in our 1.5 cups of grated tomato. Once again, this equals 400 grams. And once again, we'll mix this all together, and we're going to simmer the grated tomato between 4 to 5 minutes or until it has slightly thickened up. After about 5 minutes, you can see that grated tomato has slightly thickened up. I'm going to grab our rinsed garbanzo beans, add them into the pan, and season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give this one final mix, that way all these ingredients are evenly mixed together. And we're going to simmer this on a medium heat until our rice is fully cooked. Okay, let's move back to our basmati rice. It's been about 14 minutes since I placed a lid on the pan and lowered the fire to a low heat. At this point, this rice should be perfectly cooked. I'm going to turn off the heat and let it sit here for about 5 minutes with the lid on. That way that steam can finish cooking up that rice. After about 5 minutes, I'm going to remove the lid from the pan. And using a fork, I'm going to gently fluff up the rice. This is going to help the rice grains not be stuck to each other. Once the rice has been fluffed up, I'm going to transfer some of the herb basmati rice into a serving dish. Now we'll move back to our smoky garbanzo beans that have been simmering on a medium heat. As you can see, that tomato sauce has really thickened up and all these flavors have came together. I'm going to remove this from the heat. Add some of the smoky garbanzo beans next to the herb basmati rice. And we'll sprinkle it with some freshly chopped parsley. Check it out, our smoky Spanish garbanzos with herb basmati rice is done. Such a beautiful presentation, incredible aromas coming out of this. Let's give it a try and see how it tastes.